Hi, guys. Hello. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm going to turn the music off. Let's see. It's been a minute since I've gone live. How are y'all doing? Okay. How are you guys doing? Let's see who is here. Hey, Trina. Purple with the purple heart. Stephanie, Hope, Patricia, SB, Yvette, Purple again. Hey, Purple. Marlene, Nikki, Tasha, Tanisha, Brittany, Tracy, Joanne, Kristen, Julie, Patricia, Lakeisha, Jill, Savvy Be Saving. Okay, Savvy Be Saving. Hey, Erica. If I don't call your name, I'm calling your name in my heart. How are y'all doing? Okay, so let's see. I need to make sure that I stay on time, first of all, okay? It is 4:17, and I can't believe it's almost the end of the day, all right? I did not post a video today, so I said I absolutely have to go live and chat with y'all because it's been a minute. I think the last time I went live was maybe back in May when I was still pregnant and I had my baby in August, and it's November. How's it November, y'all? How is it November? Somebody tell me. How is it already November? Crazy. Yeah. So, how was y'all's Monday? Was it a good Monday or was it a Monday? Before we even get going, we got to, warm up. Tell me y'all's Monday. It's your birthday, Chrissy. Happy birthday. Uh-oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Chrissy's right here. Happy birthday. Or birthday month. Is it your birthday today or is it your birthday month? Well, we know it's your birthday month, but it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Yay. Okay, so y'all said, yes, I had a baby this year. I did. My baby is 2 months old, baby Levi. So I have a 3-year-old and a 2-month-old. I had to take him to the doctor today to get his 2-month shots. He did great. It is, I just don't like them poking my baby. And, my husband and I were like, okay, what is this shot for? What does this do? We're asking all of the questions. But he's doing good now. You said it's definitely a Monday. Definitely a Monday. A good one. Yay. Just adjusting to time. Oh yeah, that like I knew it was coming, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I look at my stove and I'm like, okay, I've got my little watch on and it's saying something different than what the stove said. I'm like, oh yeah, daylight saving time. So we fall back an hour, and then in the spring, I think it's you spring forward. Don't quote me on that. So, He said it's ghetto. Ah. Thank you all. Thank you. Oh, your son's name is Levi? Oh, he was born June 2nd, 1995. Like, I get now when people say kids grow up so fast. I get it now because it's like, how do I have a 3-year-old? How do I have 2 kids? That's the question. How do I have 2 kids? So, wow, I know that had to have just gone by fast. I'm trying to cherish every moment, even between the, couple of hours of sleep here and there. He's sleeping longer stretches now, but y'all know when you have a newborn, the first month or two, it's real rough, with the sleeping thing. So my husband and I, we work in shifts. So I will be with him around when we put our son to sleep around 8, my oldest to sleep. So from 8 to 4 a.m., mommy's trying to get sleep. But if baby gets up, I'm making bottles and feeding him, and we're just making it work. So that's what eye cream is for, to get rid of bags. Yep. Let's see what else y'all are saying. Found out about it after the fact. 21. Oh, wow. We got some awesome moms here. Grown kids and everything. Time flies. 15-year-old triplets? Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. That's amazing. I don't know how I would have gotten through the newborn phase without someone me and 2 other adults so we could all tag team. That sounds hard. Okay, so let's chat, y'all, because it's been a long time since we had a good old chat. And first and foremost, I want to just share a couple of jobs. Y'all probably have seen these jobs. Maybe you haven't, but I got to give you some jobs, and then, we can really get into some things and talk, because I know with tomorrow happening, if you're in America, we know what tomorrow is. Okay. People won't let us not know what tomorrow is. There's some things on the horizon, especially for remote work, that I think would be of interest for us to discuss. So first, let me just share the couple of jobs. Okay. So let me get my screen share up, and I've got my dual monitors going. So maybe I can make that work. Let's see. Give me just a second. All right, what does this button do? Picture in picture layout. It's not telling me what the picture is. Okay, I think I got it now. Entire screen. And then I'm going to put the jobs over here. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to share my screen, y'all, and we're going to start with the first job that I have for y'all. And these are, like I said, you may have seen these already, but, just putting it out there. All right, so the first job that I'm sharing with y'all is from Concentrix. They are hiring seasonal customer service representatives, and Concentrix and the other company, Conduent. These are 2 companies that are always hiring, and I shared them in my always hiring video from May. This is for their customer service rep role. It's seasonal. And the reason why I love seasonal jobs is because if you're trying to do something for a short period of time, maybe you just want to make some extra money during the holidays, or, just certain times in your life, you might want to make a little extra with no strings attached. Seasonal jobs can be really good for you. And I have a tent job, seasonal job video on my channel that I think everybody should watch, just so you know if these types of roles are for you. But they are hiring for their inbound, outbound customer service role. And it says this position provides customer service support and resolution of routine problems and questions regarding clients' products and or services. Military veterans are encouraged to apply. So, general stuff, you're going to do inbound customer support. help customers resolve basic technical issues. So this is a little bit more technical focused. Track, document, and retrieve information in databases, offer additional products and or services, and deliver expert customer experiences with a smile. And you only need 1 year of experience, your GED, quiet, distraction-free workplace. Got to have your computer stuff set up, and it's not going to loan you equipment. So you just got to have your own, and that is the job. And as far as pay goes, I would say that minimum is $15 per hour, but it could pay a little bit more. And that's something that I want to talk to y'all about. We might talk about that later. I don't want to talk about too many things today, but I have a mental note on that. Anywho, so that's the Concentrix lead. And let's see, can I put the link? I don't know if I'm going to put the link in the comments. I don't know if it's clickable, but I'm putting the link in the chat comments. So that's the link for Concentrix. And if it's not showing up, just go to their website and search on their careers page for seasonal customer service representative. So the second lead, I shared this one on my second channel. So my second channel, I'm back over there like twice a week now. I started back a couple weeks ago, and I'm just sharing a couple of additional leads in case it works for anyone. Now, I already shared this one over there, but if you read through the comments, there were multiple people who said, I either got hired for this job or I interviewed for this job. So, read through those comments because people are getting hired. And they've had this one open for a little bit. So it looks like they're hiring a lot of people. Like whenever multiple people are in the comments saying, hey, I got hired or I interviewed for it, that's just kind of an indicator for me to know that a lot of folks have been applying and a lot of folks are getting hired for the role. And so they've got multiple shifts. And I like, the idea of having, a little bit of selection there. You're doing data entry for health claim forms, and it's $15 per hour. You'll be off Tuesday and Wednesday. The only catch is you got to live in one of these states. You can't live in all states. You got to live in one of these states. So I'll put the link in the chat box again. And, if you can't click on it, just go to Conduent. This one's from Conduent and just type in remote data entry. All right, so we got 2 jobs out the way. Those were the 2 that I wanted to share, and now we can chat. And okay, Purple said it is clickable. Thank you, Purple. Yay. I'm calling you Purple, and that's not your name, but it's okay. That's your username. All right, so I'm going to stop the share, and we can now go back to the full screen, and we can talk. So, y'all, I don't want to get into the politics of everything. I don't, because I think y'all are all politicked out. If you're anything like me, you're politicked out. You're sick of seeing the commercials. You're sick of, did you know that folks can see if you voted? They can't see who you voted for, but they can see if you vote. I'm sick of it. I just got to let you know I'm sick of it. But maybe y'all are into it. Let's get the show on the road, and let's get it on the road. So not getting into the weeds of it, but anytime there's an election, anytime there's like some big thing going on, it does make a difference. And, jobs are based on the economy, and sometimes it's not even what's actually happening in the economy. It's just people's confidence in the economy. So I want to hear from y'all. Do y'all think there will be it's too political of a question, but I guess I'll ask it. Do y'all think, depending on who gets hired, technically we're hiring them, who gets in the office? Do y'all think based on who gets in the office, there will be more or less jobs to go around and therefore more or less remote jobs? What do y'all have to say? I'm going to look at the chat. Y'all aren't talking to me, or are y'all typing an essay? Let me know in the chat what y'all are thinking. So the question is, based off of who or whatever happens tomorrow, do you think it's going to affect the job market? And if so, how so? You said, I'm doing this nomadic life, so no. I think no matter what happens, remote jobs will continue to thrive. Optimistic. I love it. It'll impact it. I think so too. This is my 2 cents. I think depending on how you might feel, regardless, just the confidence that some people may have in whomever gets elected, it's like a trickle down kind of effect. You know, someone gets into the office, people feel like, okay, now we can breathe again. And then these companies, you know, they're run by people just like you and me. They say, you know what, let's go ahead and do all this hiring. You know, let's keep it, you know, let's go for the gold. And so they'll start doing a lot more hiring. Because y'all do realize, or maybe you don't, we've been in a bit of a recession. I talked about this on one of the lives that I did earlier this year, but we've definitely been in a bit of a lull. You know, it's a bit of a recession, and it's been like that for a minute now, at least since maybe 2023. Because remember that whole bank run thing? You know, remember when the Silicon Valley Bank, that whole bank run, whatever it was, it's been a minute since, you know, the economy hasn't really been booming like that. And, you know, these things are cyclical. So, you know, what goes down must come up and vice versa. But maybe that's just me. Yeah. So as far as like what's going on right now with remote work, you're definitely going to see lots and lots of healthcare jobs. If you're a newsletter reader, I send a newsletter out every single Saturday morning. I talked about this topic. So right now you're seeing a lot of healthcare jobs because it's healthcare season. You know, companies are doing open enrollment. And so if you're someone who's not super into healthcare, you might be like, my goodness, why is everything a healthcare job these days? That's because it's open enrollment season. So companies, they're doing a lot of seasonal hires, you know, the temp hires. They're making sure that they have enough workforce to process all this stuff. And so that's great for the folks who are healthcare lovers, because I'm sure you all have had plenty to choose from. Like every time I'm looking at these jobs, which is every single day, I'm seeing lots and lots of healthcare. And I've had people on my channel say, I can't get enough of healthcare. But, you know, for everyone who says I can't get enough of healthcare, there's also someone who's like, I'm sick of healthcare. I don't like healthcare. Don't share any healthcare. I got to, you know, share a little bit of something for everybody. But yeah, it's healthcare season. So we've got healthcare season. We've got the election upon us, which will help, you know, some people feel confident in the economy and therefore, you know, probably go all in on hiring. So that could introduce more jobs into the economy, into the market. And then we also, you know, right now with it being the end of the year, and I've said this for years and years, however long I've been on my channel, it's been years, you know, it's kind of a 50-50 split. So at the end of the year, we know it's holiday season. People like to celebrate the holidays, and therefore people are taking more time off of work. And so you'll have it split where it might seem like, who is hiring out here? And that's because people are taking time off to enjoy the holidays, just like you and I like to enjoy the holidays. And then they'll pick it back up in January, and you'll see all sorts of amazing jobs. And then you also have the companies who they're doing all their hiring right now so that they can hit the ground running in January. So you'll still see companies hiring. And you'll also see companies putting on the job leads, the start dates. Some of them might have some start dates in November and December. And then, a lot of them you will start seeing start dates for 2025. Like first week of January, second week of January. But regardless, there are still jobs for us to apply to. So we got to apply because you can't get hired if you don't apply. So, I think sometimes it's tempting to be like, oh, I'll put a pin in this and I'll come back. But you don't want to do that, because if you are thinking that way, a lot of other people are probably thinking that way. And this could actually be your opportunity to get hired because it's not as competitive. It's always competitive, but just like how you might be feeling burnt out because it's the end of the year and you've just been going, other people are feeling that way too. And if you just keep on pushing forward, this might actually be the time you get hired, because not as many people are applying right now. They're taking it easy. They'll get back to it in January, but not us. Okay. We're going to keep going. So I know I just said a mouthful here. Let me look at the comments of what y'all are thinking and saying. Let's see. You think not right away. You think it'll take some time depending on who's in there. That's right. At the end of the day, the day got to end. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of companies are into, leaning towards remote work, but y'all, I don't know if y'all had this affect you or not, but this was actually like end of last year where a lot of companies had return to office mandates, because remember, and a lot of stuff happened. So I have to jog y'all's memory, because sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen, because too much stuff is always happening. But if y'all remember, it was like around April or May of last year when all of the COVID stuff was lifted. All the COVID mandates and precautions and stuff was lifted, I guess, nationally by the government. And so around that time, you had companies say, okay, now we can go back into the office because there's nothing stopping us. So a lot of those mandates have already happened. And I want to say, was it Twitter or Facebook or maybe both of them? People were upset because they had to go back to the office. It's one of those real big companies, and it may have been both of them, but a lot of folks had to go back to the office already. So the good news is a lot of that has already happened and we're not really dealing with it so much. So like if you had a job that went remote because of the pandemic, it's not as likely now that they're going to say, hey, we got to go back to the office, because a lot of those jobs were only going to be remote for so long. And then they were going to go back into the office. So I was working with this one company and they were telling me like, hey, we have all these jobs that we're hiring for, and they're going to go back to the office after, whatever point in time. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that stuff has already, for the most part, taken place. But a company runs it, people who run the company can decide what they want to do at any point in time. So, that can always happen. But for the most part, if it's remote, it's going to stay remote. Let's see what else. I'll make sure that I answer some of y'all's questions that aren't necessarily on this topic, but are still good questions before I go. So it's 4:39. I'm making good time. I'm trying not to be on here too late because my son will be home pretty soon. So I got to go be a mom. You said, I feel like a lot more hiring ends with a lot more firing. So you think they're going to hire and fire just as many people? Yeah. Some companies get away from the return to office mandates. I love me some seasonal jobs. Every video, I really do my best to try and give y'all the game. I really do. I try my best to give as much as best of advice as I can give, as much as I can give it. And I'll talk about something over and over and over and over and over again to where, hopefully you're like, Delilah, I get it. But I've talked about temp jobs and seasonal jobs a lot over like the last year or so. And the reason why I talk about those so much is because it's a strategy for a lot of us who have been struggling to get hired. Like, I know we want to get hired for the job that we absolutely want, like our dream job, but sometimes we can't go the straight path to our goal. Sometimes we have to, be a little bit more strategic. And so that's why seasonal jobs and temp jobs are great, because they typically aren't looking for lots of experience. In fact, most of them are no experience friendly. And so if these are no experience friendly roles and they're seasonal in nature, so they're only for a short period of time, they're not doing this crazy long hiring process. Like, for example, I know someone right now who I've been working with who is in the process of being hired for a federal job. And it has been about 4 months. It's been about 4 months for the federal government to do their process. They move very, very slowly. And, the more clearances and stuff, the slower. And so, I use that as an example of, someone who's not trying to get you in there quick and fast in a hurry. Seasonal and temp jobs are the opposite. They're trying to get you in there quick, fast, and in a hurry because the nature of the role is quick, fast, in a hurry. So if you have no experience and you're trying to, get hired to work from home, that's a great route to take, because you can, get on pretty easily and get a lot of experience pretty quickly and add it to your resume. So you don't have to, start from, what I'm trying to say is you don't always land the job that you want immediately. If you've been trying that route, like I know what I want and I've been applying for that and it has been happening, try the temp job, seasonal job route. And so you'll get work from home experience under your belt. You'll learn a lot of skills. And, sometimes these companies keep you on permanently. So you might have started off as a seasonal, worker, but they decide, hey, we have a need for this to be a steady state role. And that's how you get your, steady job. So, strategy. Okay. Strategy. Let's see what else y'all are saying on topic. Okay. Give me just a second, y'all. I'm going to pause my camera and I'm going to come right back. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, we've got the new year upon us, lots and lots of remote jobs coming our way. Even if people weren't, like, even if there wasn't an election, we would still have a lot of jobs coming our way because January is a beautiful time for remote work. I love January. Some of the best jobs that I've ever shared happen in January, but I share great jobs year round. Year round. And by the way, I want to address something. I'll often get comments on my videos where people will say, like, hey, who all is getting hired after watching these videos? And I understand where the comment is. I think I understand where the comment is coming from, but I don't know if people realize that all of the information I share is on the internet. It's on the internet. So if you're just watching a video and, it's not about like the software or any of my courses or working with me one-on-one, but you're like, hey, I'm watching this video. Is anyone getting hired for these jobs? I think what people are really trying to ask is, are these legitimate? And they are. You can go on the internet and find them. But, I share jobs to help people who are busy, just like you and me. Like, if you have a job and you're trying to apply to jobs, any bone someone can throw you is helpful. So I don't know if most people think about it that way, but I share these jobs to be helpful. Like, I'm thinking about someone who's got, the baby in one arm and the toddler asking for a snack in the other. And, you need a new job, but you don't have like an hour or two to sit on the computer and look for jobs. Here's a job that you can apply to. At least you're applying to one. One is better than none. And a lot of people do get hired, but I can't take credit for that. That's the thing. Like, if I put the job in front of you, I just shared what was already on the internet. You can find these jobs too. But I think also a lot of times people don't know how to tell if a job is legit. Do any of y'all have trouble with figuring out if a job is legit? This is a safe space. Let me know in the comments while I drink some water. Y'all are mighty quiet today. Did y'all have your coffee? I need y'all to talk to me in the chat box. We need participation. Okay, here we go. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to assume that some folks are just a little bit scared. I'm going to assume that some folks are a little bit scared. And they don't want to say that they don't know. Because, we don't want to ever be the one who's like, I don't know. So I'm going to pretend like everyone's like, no, Delilah, I don't know how to tell if a job is legit. Well, I can give you a few easy ways to check, okay? So number one, okay, let's say I shared, I'm going to go back to the leads that I shared with y'all today, okay? I'm going to go back to leads that I shared with y'all today, and we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to learn something. Because if you're trying to work from home, you need to know this like the back of your hand. Be mad at me if you want to, but you have no business working from home or looking for a work from home job if you can't get the basics down, like figuring out if something is legit. There's a way to know this. So I wasn't planning on doing this today, but the teacher in me, I got to teach, okay? So let me share my screen again, okay? I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to learn something today, whether we want to or not, because we need to know these things. Okay. All right. So I'm just using this as an example. So let's pretend like you stumbled upon one of my videos on YouTube. And I'm like, hey, this data entry job is hiring you guys. Go apply. And I don't give you the link. I don't give you anything. I'm just like, go apply to this job. Okay. Now, if I tell you that this job comes from Conduent, which this job does, but I don't provide a link, if you're like, I'm not sure if that's legit, I'm not sure if that's a real job, somebody in the comments tell me, what can you do if the link is not provided? I always provide the link, but I'm just going to pretend like the link isn't provided. And I say, Conduent's hiring for this remote data entry job. How would you go find this job? Ding, ding, ding. Always go to the actual website. Yes. Always go to the actual website. And I hope you guys know that I personally can't sleep at night if I do someone wrong. A lot of folks aren't like that, but I can't sleep at night if I do someone wrong and I know that I'm doing someone wrong. So I don't want you to trust me, but I'm just putting it out there, okay? I'm not someone who's going to do you wrong on purpose. If I do you wrong, it's an accident. I'm going to do my best to make it right. But I've never shared a scam. And the reason why is because these jobs come directly from the company's website. So whether it's me or anyone else on YouTube sharing jobs, no matter how much you feel like you know them and trust them, never trust them because we're strangers on the internet, and go directly to the company's website. And here's the thing. Some people might say, I don't know how to find the company. Well, Google, okay? Google, you can Google the name of the company. All right. So Google the name of the company. And, you have a lot of clues as to if this is the actual website or not, because if I'm showing you this and you see, oh, this is the emblem and the name of the company's Conduent, when you Google it, you're always going to see the same exact thing. And you can go directly to their careers page and search for the job. And we even have the reference number for the job. We have the job title. Okay. You can see what the job actually says, and you can compare when you go directly to their website. So that's one way. Okay. That's the main way. Always go directly to their website. Now, since I'm teaching, I'm going to keep on teaching. Okay. Because we need to know this. Let's pretend the company emails you and they say, hey, we want to invite you to interview for a job. What's one thing we can do to make sure that it's legit? Somebody tell me in the chat box. If a company emails you and says, hey, we want you to interview for a job, what is one way we can tell if it's legit? Ding, ding, ding. Cynthia says, look at the email address. Yes. Okay. Look at the email address. Every time a company contacts you on official company business, they are going to email you from an official company email. And the email is always the company's domain name. Okay. Always. So a company is never going to say, hey, we want you to interview for this job. And it comes from Gmail, or it comes from Hotmail, or AOL, or scammer.com. It's going to come from that company's website. Let me show y'all something. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to show y'all something. Perfect. It's right here in front of me. All right. This is really tiny. Maybe I can make it bigger. I'm going to make it bigger. Y'all see what this says right here, this little paragraph blurb right here? Okay. Conduent only uses conduent.com for email communications. So if Conduent emails you and says, hey, we have an interview for you, it's going to come from conduent.com. It works that same way for every single company. It's going to come from their official website. In fact, let's say that they emailed you, like let's say you got an email from this email address right here. Okay. And it doesn't matter if it's this email address or any email address. The part that comes after the @ you can always put that portion into your web browser up here, and it's going to take you to the official website. Emails are connected to websites. So nobody can get an email that says at remoteworklife.co. That's my company. So if someone wants to email pretending to be me, they can never, ever, ever duplicate at remoteworklife.co because the emails are connected to the website. That's the most simple way I can put it. So no one can ever duplicate this. That's official. Let me know in the comments if y'all understand what I am saying. And it's okay if you don't. Do y'all understand what I am saying? Yes. Okay, perfect. I will repeat that. I will repeat it. Okay. So if a company emails you and says, hey, I have an interview for you. We want to interview you for a job. One of the ways you can check if it's legitimate is by looking at their email address. Companies always will email you from their official company email. Okay. So if it's a Conduent job, like if you applied for this job and and Conduent emails you and says, hey, we want to get you in for an interview, their email address is always going to be such and such at conduent.com. It will never come from at gmail.com, at hotmail.com. You get my point. It's always going to come from at conduent.com. And if you're like, let me just check, anytime you want to, just put the part that comes after this @ symbol. Okay. You can put this portion right here of the email into your web browser and it will take you right back to the main website. Now, another thing, a lot of times we're applying to tons and tons and tons of jobs, and we might say, I don't remember applying to this company. Okay, I don't remember applying to them. You want to do that trick to make sure that it's legit. And then as best as you can, keep track of the companies you apply to, you know. Also, anytime someone is saying, hey, you know, I'm so-and-so, I'm with the, you know, I'm with HR from Conduent, you can look that person up on LinkedIn. Everyone who is in HR is on LinkedIn. Like they will always be on LinkedIn. So go to LinkedIn and check out that person, and you want to verify that, hey, they do, you know, work at Conduent. Those are just two easy ways to figure out if something is legit, if someone's emailing you. Now, if you're trying to figure out if a job that you saw in someone's video is legit, just go directly to the company's website, and that's all you need. But here's the thing. What if the company someone's sharing in a video is not legit? Ruh-roh. That's where good old Google comes in. And you want to see that that company has a footprint. So that's where Glassdoor, that's where their LinkedIn account, their other social profiles and platforms come into play. Because there's always a company that maybe you've never heard of, But if you've never heard of it, if it's a legit company that is doing hiring, you will definitely find other people who work there. That's why I always start every single video off at Glassdoor. You know, some of y'all may have noticed that I start off every video at Glassdoor. You can go to their Glassdoor, but Glassdoor is not enough. Like, look and see their LinkedIn profile for the company. Look on, their other socials. See who all works there. Dig a little bit. Because you don't want to just be trusting that, hey, this is a company. Maybe I've never heard of them, but, it is a company. So you always want to just go in and do your own research. So I can only talk about me and what I do, but I always share legitimate jobs, always. But it's up to us as individual job seekers to also verify that these jobs are legit. Now, another concern that people, since we're on the topic of scams, people say, is it normal for a company to text me? Companies text you these days. Now, the reason why they are texting you is to schedule an interview. So I believe Cigna, they have, let me actually go to Cigna and I might be able to show it. If it's Cigna, then I can show y'all. Give me just a second because I like to give y'all examples. I tell y'all all the time, my channel is an education channel. We're getting jobs and we're learning, So let me find an example and maybe I can show y'all. Give me another second. Maybe it was these folks. So sometimes companies, they will give you their hiring process ahead of time. Like they'll have a section on their careers page where they tell you how they go about hiring. Sometimes they might not, but let's see. I think this company lets us know. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm looking at, I just wanted to give y'all an example of a company that does this. So I'm looking at Humana's website and I'm pretty sure, yep, here it is. Okay, so our hiring process. So sometimes companies will tell you ahead of time, like, hey, this is what you can expect. But, they kind of get into like a little bit of the details about it. And so they tell you like, okay, you can explore, you can apply, you can interview, they even have it to where you can learn more. Let's see, the interview process may include phone calls, video interviews, in-person discussions, online assessments. They might tell us, but this is a company that I know for sure will text you. So I wanted to see if they actually put it on there. But this company and a lot of other companies, just because we always literally have our phones right here to make sure that they have people show up to their interview, they will, text you and say, hey, just a reminder, schedule your interview. They'll also send you an email. So it'll never be just text message. Okay, I'll repeat that again. It'll never be just text message, but they'll also email you as well. So they're just trying to make sure that they're using all the modes of communication that they have at their disposal to ensure that you are notified that they want to interview you. Okay, but Okay, here's the big but. The interview will never happen via text. So if they email you and or text you about doing an interview, it is just so that you go and schedule it. But it will never happen via text communication, like with your thumbs. I have had people tell me that they interviewed for a job via text message. I said, how does that work? The company was just texting them and they were texting back. That's not how it works when it's legit. That's a scam. So scheduling via text, yes. But actually having an interview via text, no. Do we understand that? Does that make sense, y'all? Let me know. Okay. Essie says yes. Makes sense. All right. Yeah. So don't be alarmed if a company is like, we're going to text. Don't be alarmed if a company texts you and says schedule an interview. That's okay. Now, another thing that people get, alarmed about is they say, hey, Delilah, I got an interview, but it's not with a person. It's like a pre-recorded interview. And they want to know, is that legit? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm going to show y'all something else. We're going on a field trip around the internet today. I wasn't planning on this, but, if that's what we need, that's what we need. I'm here for y'all. Give me just a second. Okay. Let me show y'all something. Hold on. My husband just texted me. Okay. Let me show y'all something. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this? I can make it bigger. Do y'all see that? Let me know if you see that, what I just highlighted. Yes. Okay. This company, Humana, we're just picking on Humana right now because I know they do the text message to remind you to schedule an interview. And they also do like the HireVue interview, so I mentioned that. That's a virtual interview platform. Okay. You know why they do that? Because can you imagine a company that has 10,000 plus people coming and going every single day? Can you imagine how large their HR department would have to be to process people who are exiting the company and to do the recruitment and hiring of people coming into the company? Can you imagine how many people that would be just in the HR department alone to handle this many people? I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. That's a ton of people that this company would need just to make sure that they can interview people or do exit interviews. Because HR doesn't just do hiring, they also make sure that, all things going on are taken care of. That is why you might have to do a, virtual interview where it's just you answering questions and there's no one else. That's why. Because there's multiple process, like steps before you can get to the point where, okay, you've been vetted and you can actually talk to a live person. I know sometimes we want to just go directly to talking to a person from the company, but because there are so many people, there's a certain level of automation that HR has to implement in order for them to manage this many people hiring and firing and quitting and whatnotting. Y'all get what I'm saying? So that's why the first interview might not even be a phone interview. It might just be you doing a pre-recorded interview where you're answering questions, like you're recording it and then you send it. And then you might even have another step of that before you ever get anyone on the phone or like on a video interview like this, doing Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And that's another thing. Interviews typically will happen on either of those platforms, either Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And sometimes these companies are so big and ballin', they have their own platform that they do the interviews on. But for the most part, it'll be those two. Y'all, it is 5:11. Time really, really, really flies, but I got to go. Okay. I hear my baby. He's probably fussy from getting his shots earlier. And then my oldest is on his way home. So this was so much fun. We chatted. We didn't even get into all the things, but I just wanted to show my face on here. It's been a while. And I'm not even going to say what I always say. I always say, I'm not going to go that long without going live again. And I go triple the time. So I'm just going to say, see y'all next time. And I should be back tomorrow with another Hot Leads video. I'll do my best to be back with another Hot Leads video. So it was good chatting with y'all. I hope y'all maybe learned something or, whatever. But I like chatting. So I'll talk to y'all very, very soon. Take care and have a very blessed evening. Bye.